who have had the reflection of it is really special to see people's face in real life. I am having that same moment as well. And also just want to express gratitude to everyone who has spent many hours since last year organizing today's event. So today I'll be reading a personal essay about my grandfather, and his name is Jackson Shima. It's titled, If These Pages Could Talk. "What's this, Grandpa?" I ask, fingers curling around an artifact on his coffee table that I've never seen before. "Oh, that," he replies awkwardly, kicking his swollen, bionic braced leg in my direction, the constant reminder of his World War II Purple Heart from the shredding force of shrapnel. That's my high school yearbook. He turns back to the baseball game. Mariners are playing the Mets, Mariners in the lead. Curled up on the floor, my fingers peel back a weathered, gritty white yearbook cover with Jefferson High School embossed upon it. A page of exquisite calligraphy greets me. Cartoon figures of football players and cheerleaders waving American flags border the pages. The swath of signatures takes me back to my own high school yearbook, but instead of hackass and hags, they're replaced with "You're one heck of a pal, have a great summer, have a swell summer." Reading through the swells and the pals, a giggle escapes from my lips. I look up at my 93-year-old grandfather in his recliner, arthritis-riddled hands like crooked tree roots, and salt and pepper hair freshly trimmed by the barbershop he frequents militantly every 2 weeks. This yearbook reverses time itself. Through it, I'm introduced to a grandpa I've never known before. A grandfather who doesn't cut out foam insoles for shoes to ease the pain of his limp. A grandfather whose shoulder had never met the 22-pound weight of a World War II Browning automatic rifle. This grandfather is a Sansei boy in his formative years with a bright future ahead. I wonder who he was in high school. I wonder about his hopes and dreams. I wonder what he feared, and I wonder what he longed for the most. Hungry for any hint at these answers, I turn to the next page. Another calligraphy-blanketed page greets me, but one signature is etched bolder than the others. It reads, "Jackson, I guess you're swell for a jab." The words swallow me whole. I gasp how these letters charge the lightheartedness from curved swoops and graceful salutations. A churning boils in my gut as my eyes desperately search the page for anything to tame this nauseating feeling. They land on another signature delicately etched at the corner of the page. It's my fellow inmate. "You're a real swell guy, the best in Block 9. I look back up to my grandfather's 93-year-old frame cradled in the recliner. An ice pack now rests atop his swollen ankle, elevated to dull the pain. As a child, I had once naively asked him if ice just made it stop hurting. The answer was laughter and a no, followed with a sigh. "Why does it say inmate in here, Grandpa?" A quiver infiltrates my question. One ripped from the carefree adolescent bliss of cartoon cheerleaders waving American flags. It was my sophomore yearbook. We got sent away to camp the year after. We didn't have much money back then, and it was one of the few things I really owned as a kid. So when we had to pack up, I took my yearbook with me. Some signatures are from school, but I had people sign it in camp too, after I was drafted, before I got sent off to fight in the 442. I didn't know when I'd see anyone again. He says camp so naturally. It's as if he's recalling a summer camp, but I know the weight of that word. He's referring to a dark, desolate place behind barbed wire, barracks in which families were packed like bloated cans of sardines, and where walls were so paper thin, the cries of shivering babies echoed through the whole block. It's a place that ground scars into my grandfather's bones long before his flesh bore the scars of combat. This is the place I grew up hearing next to nothing about in my history classes, but hearing everything about over ochazuke at my family's dinner table. This is a place whose trauma I never knew personally, but viscerally inherited. From a shutter at the numbers 9066 to the grit-etched pages of my grandfather's yearbook, a grit I now recognize isn't mere wear and tear, but the lingering desert dust from scorching summers imprisoned behind barbed wire at Camp Harmony in Washington, then Camp Minidoka in Idaho. Afraid my face will unleash the emotions bubbling forth, I turn back to the page in front of me, and I read another wave of signatures with a distinctly different tone. To my fellow inmate, I'm glad I got to be with a pal like you behind barbed wire. Glad I don't eat at the mess hall you cook at. If I did, I don't think I would make it out. God bless you, Jack. And on the last page, a final signature catches my eye. These sentences framed with the brown scars of internment camp dust and written in scribbled pencil. To my fellow inmate, the horizon looks pretty bleak, but I hope there's light. Amidst our uncertain futures. A tear beads in my eye, but I quickly wipe it away. If only these pages could talk. I take a deep breath and look back up at my grandpa. He's the same man as always, but now I feel as though something has shifted. I now wonder how he transitioned from a high school in Seattle to a high school where soldiers in guard towers pointed their guns inward. I now wonder about his hopes and dreams as a prisoner in his own country who never committed a crime. I now wonder what his mother, who was a single mother of 6, feared the most. And I now wonder what he longed for when huddled in the trenches of Italy with bombs and bullets peppering overhead. And most of all, I wonder how the hell did he make it through? My grandfather's light gray eyes meet mine, but I can't hold the weight of this gaze. I look to the cane propped against the chair to his left, then to a stack of phone books bound together with knotted cloth at his right. Why so many phone books, I ask. It's my weight, he replies. His fingers thread through the loop of fabric atop the book stack. I made it to do my exercises. He lifts the books up with a groan, gingerly raising the pile above his head, then back down, then back up again. His motion assumes a cadence as his brow furrows with focus on the task at hand. You know, he says, you always have to keep moving, even if you can't move much. Only moments ago, I was asking myself how my grandfather made it through, and this statement over a pile of cloth-knotted phone books was my answer. Do you want to try, he asks. I put the yearbook back down on the coffee table and then reach my hand out to grip the pile. Yes, I respond. I will try. Thank you.